Hey everyone, welcome back. Same spot, same place, just a different video, 1 week later. My name is Eric, and today we're going to be going over overeating versus undereating, and also going to be touching base on eating too much of certain things and not enough of certain things, and the symptoms that can come with it. Oh, and also a calorie. Why the calorie is an important measurement. So, getting right to it. So overeating versus undereating. So we're going to start off with overeating. As it sounds, overeating is just when you're eating too much. When you're eating more than what you really need. I had a triangle in my previous video that explained the quality of food versus the amount, and then the amount necessary for you and your age, height, your activity levels, and even your sex. That's actually something that I'll state here. I'll read it right from here because I said it really well here. So, overeating is when you eat more than is necessary per your age, height, gender. So gender does actually matter because women usually store more fat than men. Men do not store as much fat, but it's mainly due to the process of pregnancy. Women can have babies, and so when they do have babies, they need that energy to help with the baby making process. So yeah, gender does actually matter. Men exert more energy in terms of strength and power, while women exert it more in the way of, baby making. Now obviously women do have the capability of strength as well, so I mean, not to be sexist, but that is just how it is. So then, where was I? And activity levels throughout your day. So if you're more active throughout your day, you can eat more. If you are less active throughout your day, you should eat less. So right now, I am only eating twice a day because I'm less active. I'm not working out as much. And I'm fine. I've lost a little bit of weight, but actually it's cool because before I had a little bit of fat on me. All gone. No more. It's thing of the past, but it's only because I'm eating based off my activity levels, and yeah, it's pretty cool when you do it like that. We're going to talk about the calorie in a second too, because I think the calorie is the most important measurement for determining how much energy you need to burn the food that you're eating. So that's what that measurement represents. We'll talk about that in a second. So when you eat more than you need, you're going to hold onto that excess energy in the form of fat. So yeah, usually if you eat too many carbs, you're going to get fat. Protein can sometimes turn into fat. The one thing I didn't actually talk about in the last video was how protein can be used as energy, but it is the last form of energy to be used. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's the last, it's the third. So carbohydrates are usually always the first. Fats are the second. They're always used second because that's just how our body prioritizes usage of energy. So the first usage is of the simple stuff, the stuff that is easiest to break down, the glucose. If there's no glucose though, or glycogen, then we go into the fats. And then the fats actually only last for so long. We don't always use the fats. And then once we finish with the fat process, and let's say we're still going at it, let's say we're running on a treadmill, then the proteins can start being used after a certain period of time. Usually it's after, I believe, an hour or two. It could be longer, I can't remember, but this is when your muscles start being used as energy, your organs, and you don't want that. So if you have a lot of weight on you and you're just running on a treadmill and you expect all that fat to be used in that moment, think again. That's not how that works. Protein will at some point be used. So that's why it is inefficient to think that running on a treadmill or even just exercising for long periods of time is going to lose that weight. That isn't how that works. You have to actually cut out a lot of that energy intake that you're eating in order to lose the weight beforehand. So your body will naturally burn the weight throughout your day based on your activity levels in your day. Don't just run on a treadmill and think that you're going to burn it all at that time, because you're not. It doesn't work like that. Your body is an efficient ancient machine, and your body was never really designed to maintain all that weight. We are complex but efficient, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, you're going to hold on to that weight, so whether it be subcutaneous, which is flubbery and surrounds the outer under portions of the dermis. Visceral fat is even more unhealthy because it's underneath the organs and muscles. You do not want to have visceral fat, or as much visceral fat as, visceral fat's not good, but having too much fat on you in general is not good. So that's why you want to try not to eat too much. And then going into undereating. Undereating is the complete opposite. So it's when you do not have enough food that your body then requires, especially for the amount of work that you would need to survive. So if you're just not eating enough to survive, or like if you don't have enough nutrients specifically to do the work that you need to do, you're going to have specific symptoms that will result in problems or issues that you otherwise don't want. We're going to go through that in a second, but yeah, there's quite a few different things that can happen if you're not eating the right things over an extended or even in a short period of time. So, and you either eat non-nutritional foods that create no form of necessary energy. So if you're just eating sugar and you're just not eating the right things that you need, your body's not going to be nourished properly, and it's almost like you're under-eating, but it's a different story. Your body isn't getting what it needs to build yourself. So let's say you're only eating simple sugars. You're not eating fats, you're not eating proteins. Oh, your body's going to have a hard time. You will probably still store a little bit of fat, but diabetes. You don't want diabetes. So that's why you need to have a balance of everything. That's why you need vegetables in your diet. Vegetables are more complex and they take time to break down. Vegetables are way better than simple sugars in every context. So you might also avoid foods altogether, which in most cases is even worse and can lead to death by malnutrition in most severe cases. So if you're only drinking water and you don't have access to food or healthy foods, I guess you could say just in this general context, food in general, you're not gonna survive. Your body needs to maintain itself with food. It needs building blocks to stay healthy, to stay alive, to be able to do work throughout the day. And so if you don't have those building blocks to make sure that you can do work or stay alive, you're gonna have a hard time. So that's why undereating is a bad thing. You need to make sure you eat in order to thrive and survive. So I also say here that we can survive without eating food for much longer than we can for drinking water. So I've already said that in one of my previous videos. Even I've made shorts. I'll make shorts of these videos too. But it remains an important understanding that we physically require a healthy, balanced diet of all the major food groups to maintain and build our body to be stronger while living to be older and happier. So we need to have a balanced, healthy diet throughout our life. Otherwise, we're not going to make it past, whatever age you are. You got to make sure you're eating healthy. You got to make sure you're eating at all. Otherwise, you're just going to have a problem, and you don't want problems. Problems suck. However, what if you can't afford to eat a balanced diet? That's kind of getting into where we are today with most people, where they go into the grocery store, they see the price of foods, and they can't afford it. So this is where we're currently at a weird time in our life, where we have more food than we've ever had before in our life. Corporate greed is keeping us from getting it. That is a huge problem. That is something that we're currently, I can't explain that. I don't know what's going on there. But without healthy food, like, our society is more useless. We're not as efficient. We're not as useful as we could be. But these corporations don't really care about us. They care about their profits. They care about themselves. They're selfish. And so that's why I think that we as a people need to be a little bit more selfish and not care about these corporations half as much, because they're not going to help us. if it's them versus us, they're always going to think about them first. So that's why I think we need to think about us first. Our body can survive for a short period anyways with the bare minimums of whatever you can get your hands on. So whatever you can get your hands on, absolutely, but in the short term, that'll work. In the long term, we're going to get some symptoms. Actually, you know what? I'll go over those symptoms right now. Where is it? Here. Not enough and too much. I'll probably put these here just so that you can see it in a visual, but I'll also post the document because I'm not going to go over everything in the or not enough too much document, because I actually don't just cover nutrition based things in here. I cover other things like sitting, standing, walking, gating, working, houses. So anyways, first I'll start off with the end process, which is defecation. If you do not poop enough, that is constipation, low poop output. If you have a high poop output though, and you're just like, it's just not stopping, it's got a high flow rate, yeah, that's diarrhea. High poop output. You don't want either or, you want healthy poops. Healthy poops are what we aim for. Nice solid stools. Not too solid, but solid enough where it feels good. That's the best way I can say it. Okay, so sugar or carbohydrate intake, having little to no energy is when you don't have enough, and when you have too much, diabetes. Salt intake, so not having enough, feeling nauseous, dizzy, you just feel unwell. It's not a good feeling. I've had that feeling before because when I had to figure out what I needed to eat, especially with a gluten-free diet, not much salt is added into that kind of stuff. So I actually had to take a salt shaker and into my mouth, and it was weird because at first I would lay on the couch and be like, why did I have to do that? And then almost instantly I felt better. So you need salt to maintain water, or to hold in your water, to make sure that you actually can have good water retention. There we go, that's the word I was looking for, water retention. However, if you are eating too much salt, then that means you will have way too much water retention. You're going to have high blood pressure and possibly way more other issues. Brain-blood barrier issues, heart issues, you might have a heart attack. There's so many different things that can happen when you eat too much or not enough of certain things. But yeah, salt is one of the ones that was a big focus point in the early 2000s. But then I had to deal with clients who were afraid of salt intake, but then they would get these symptoms. So that's what I had to teach people in my profession. Potassium. Potassium is another form of salt that we need, but it's different because we get it from bananas, potatoes. If you eat too much potassium, we'll go over that in a second, but not having enough means that you're going to have increased blood pressure, causing kidney stones. So like I said with protein, eating too much protein, you can get kidney stones, but not having enough potassium can also cause kidney stones. Abnormal heart rhythm, constipation, increased urination, and your muscles are weakened. So you actually need potassium to use your muscles, and without potassium, your muscles are not going to be as strong, they're not going to be able to operate as well. So all these symptoms can happen without too much potassium or any at all, but with too much potassium, you will have heart palpitations. So you're going to notice that you just have an irregular heart rate or random flutters in your heart rate, which is not good. Chest pain and weaknesses, which is obviously not good. It's almost similar to the salt, regular like sodium chloride intake. You don't really want that. Nausea, muscle pain, cramps. So cramping can actually happen from other salts, so sodium chloride as well. You need to have a good balance of these things. But you could also get cramps from other things as well. I'll be going over that in overtraining and undertraining in the future. And trouble breathing. So you will have a hard time breathing. Actually, I'm pretty sure that can happen for the other salt as well. So yeah, I'm gonna post this in the description so that you can see it. Calcium. So under eating or not getting enough calcium will usually result in osteoporosis, but that can also happen genetically as well. And then eating too much is hypercalcemia. So you will have too much calcium. Your body won't be able to use it properly. I don't actually know what the symptoms are. I think it actually does have a little bit to do with the heart, maybe something to do with the bones, but yeah, just make sure you get enough. And yeah, so iron. Not enough is an iron deficiency, so you would have fatigue, weakness. Usually your skin could go pale because you're not eating enough iron or having enough iron intake. Actually, women have a lack, or not a lack. Usually women need to take iron supplementation, especially on their periods, because they need to supplement the intake of the thing that they're losing, which is blood. They're not obviously going to want to drink blood like a vampire. That'd be kind of weird and gross, but iron is necessary to help with the creation of blood. Yeah, so shortness of breath, headaches, and dizziness. So that's all from lack of or not enough. Too much, on the other hand, it is called hemochromatosis. So you could actually have organ failure, and it's actually got a symptom or a cause and effect is dementia. So because of the brain, it's a brain-caused effect. So I'm not going to go into much more of this. I do actually go into water here. I actually mentioned it twice, but I mentioned it in two different ways. I don't know why I did that, but whatever, it's there. So you can go over that. I'll leave that in the description. But now what I'm going to go over is the, I don't like the BMI scale. It exists for those who don't exercise and for those who do exercise and have muscle on them. This scale doesn't really work for you. But the lower end of the BMI spectrum, which is 18.5 and under, that's usually when you're underweight. Normal average weight in a BMI scale is 18.5 to 24.9. I don't use this scale ever with people. I don't ever really mention these numbers. I'm only mentioning them because you might have heard these before. When it comes to the BMI scale, like overweight, for example, so 25 and anything above, and then it goes to the classes, so 25 to 29.9 is overweight, 30 to 34.9 is overweight, obesity class 1, and then it goes all the way to 3. I guess you could say that these classes exist to describe a person's current state. However, if a person has muscle and they have fat on them, they could end up in the wrong category. So that's why I think the BMI scale is not the best scale to use in terms of keeping track of your weight. I actually just think it's healthier to keep track of your weight and the amount of calories that you're intaking. And now before I actually go into too much more, and anorexia, bulimia. So when you have anorexia or bulimia, it's almost like an anxiety of weight gain. You do not want to gain that weight, or you may even have a fear of food, or just the idea of gaining weight. So, or voluntarily induced vomiting, which would cause malnutrition. So these are things that you want to try to avoid. Obviously, if you have this condition, this is where a therapist might come in, or a doctor. I don't know if a dietitian would be the best solution, but I mean, I wouldn't be the person to go to recommend you to these professionals. I would usually start you off with your doctor, but okay, so the calorie. Why is the calorie important? So the calorie, in chemistry anyways, is the measurement of how much energy it takes to burn anything. Food, water, Usually in chemistry, we look at the measurement of, I think it's the kilojoule or the joule. With water, it's 4.184 kilojoules of energy that it would take to, or joules, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've been in chemistry, but that's the amount of energy it would take to burn water or to utilize its energy. With food, we utilize the calorie. And so the calorie is found on every food label, and that is the amount of energy that it provides. So that is the amount of energy it would take to burn the food. Yes, so usually you need a certain amount of calories to be good throughout your day, but it's different for everyone. It's based off your activity level, it's based off of your height, weight, height, gender, activity level. I guess there are some genetic predispositions to go with it, but yeah, the calorie is definitely the best measurement in terms of measuring how much you may need throughout your day. It's something that we came up with throughout our history, and it's worked. It's worked quite well for people who have wanted to lose weight. The only problem is some people can become obsessed with the calorie, and that could actually ruin your success. So that's why I sometimes recommend not becoming overly obsessed with the calorie, trying to figure out the foods that you need to eat, maybe even avoiding the calorie to start. But if you're having a hard time with figuring out how much you need to eat, or maybe you're eating too much, the calorie can help. Just try not to compare yourself to others, and even the standardized amount, which is, I believe, 2,000 calories, that does not work for everybody. So just keep in mind that this is unique to you. You need to make sure that you're eating based off what you need, and if you are overweight, slim down on what you're eating or become more active, but when you eat less, you'll notice a quicker result. This weight loss stuff always happens quickest and more efficiently in the kitchen. Or I guess you could say, abs are made in the kitchen. So, when can unhealthy eating habits come out, and how do you deal with it? Mental health. So, usually we create or have more unhealthy eating habits in times of stress. So when we're stressed out, sometimes we eat more, sometimes we eat less. I'm the kind of person who will eat less. I don't like eating when I'm stressed out, just because I can't. When I'm doing something, when I'm thinking about something, when I'm in the middle of something, I gotta do it. I gotta get it done. So I get it done, and then I eat afterwards. Or sometimes I will eat in the middle of, but that's only because I've had some kind of success, or I've gotten something done. Times of pressure. So times of pressure, but I mean, I do that to myself. I own my own business. I pressure myself, so that's just what happens. Endurance runs, so working through times that should be used to eat food. I do that all the time. That's kind of actually what led to me eating or not eating in the morning time. I just kind of did stuff, but then for some reason, I feel fine. I feel great actually. I get up in the morning, sometimes I'm hungry, but I wait an hour and then I just feel great. I feel fine until I feel hungry in the afternoon. And then I get a little bit hangry, but I mean, once I eat, I feel like a butterfly. I feel great. So filling gaps of boredom. So when you're eating because you're bored, that can cause a whole load of issues. That's something new to our society. I guess it's existed for a while, but it's more prevalent today because of our access to food. And so, and the fact that we don't have to do half as much as we used to. Like, we used to be hunter-gatherers, so we used to actually have to hunt and move and go out and do stuff. But nowadays, you can work at home. You don't have to go anywhere. So that's why food intake is something that you should probably keep track of. And if you have a hard time with keeping track of it, write it down. Try your best to just try to create healthier habits for yourself. That's why I think keeping track of your calories may be important. I do have a document to help you keep track of it, but that's actually the thing that I'm not going to release. It's a workshop, and if you would like to do that workshop, yeah, I would want to do it with you, just so that you can understand the importance of it, why you're doing it in the first place, and making sure that you stay with it. Because if I just put it online, there's a good chance you're just going to download it and not do it. I'm releasing these other documents because they're things that I'm covering in the video, and it gives you something to read off of while I'm going through it if you want. But the workshop is something that would require a form of discipline to do. So if you do want to do it, I'm here, I can help you. I'm not that expensive. I think that you might need extra help if you need that though. And not creating or having too many healthy habits. Having too many habits can in itself create an unhealthy habit. So if you have too much on your plate, that's usually where help is necessary. So like hiring someone like me. Usually I worked with people who were really busy and they needed me for that. So that was cool. My goal with my business today though is to teach you about these things so that I can move on to the next person. So I'm not maintaining clients in my work today. Today I'm teaching people about the things that we should otherwise be taught about in school. Okay, so where and who can this happen to? So overeating and undereating. Genetics, ability to digest foods, so intolerances, food allergies from birth or even developmental. So lactose intolerance is usually developmental. It's the majority of the population, believe it or not. You'd think otherwise, but you're not supposed to digest food, or no, sorry, not food. You're not supposed to digest milk after a certain age. Actually, someone left a comment in one of my water videos where water is most important. Water is most important because, like I said, most people can't digest milk. Milk has certain nutrients that is good for you in your development, and if you can digest it, you're one lucky SOB, but at the same time, there are ways that you can avoid milk. You don't need it. You can get your calcium from vegetables, from nuts, legumes. You can get them from all sorts of different sources. You do not need milk. But then again, there's soy milk now. Day-to-day habits, so too much or not enough, balance and usage of personal disciplines. So like I said in my too much, too little document, you can overdo and underdo everything. If you have good balance though, you will be healthy, you'll be good. That's usually what we're aiming for here. That's why I'm releasing this, to give you that understanding. Disciplines of eating, movement, and healthy understanding of the food groups and macro and micronutrients. I might actually I'll post the Canada's food guide at the bottom too. It's now just a picture that shows you all of the different things that you could eat to have a healthy, balanced diet. It's okay. I don't mind it. It's not bad. I liked the colorful one more because it had I think it made it easier to understand anyways, but they took out milk from what I understand. So I'll post that. And then places to avoid to create better habits and disciplines. So avoiding overconsumption. This is the biggest problem with overconsumption and overeating today, is that we need to go out places to be busy, to keep ourselves occupied. That's not the greatest thing to do. That's not the greatest habit, especially in the fact that we have to spend money while we're doing it. But like, we go out, we get a coffee, we get a donut. We're like, oh, well, at least I'm going out, or I'm doing something with my day. That is probably one of the worst things that we could be doing for ourselves. We could be saving our money. We could be doing something more useful with our time. Some people have it down pat, but other people, most people, they use these opportunities to go out to do things that we never would have ever done like 50, 100, 200, 500, whatever years ago. These are things that are new to us, and overconsumption is now in our veins. So we really do need to try to reel it back in and try to think more about efficiency. But that again takes a discipline and practice and an understanding. So anyways, I'm done with this video. So if you have any questions, concerns, comments, feedback, or anything in between, please leave it in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Our community is very small so far, but I do find it really useful and nice and fun to actually communicate with everybody that has something to say, or like just say, hey, Eric, doing good or whatever. I don't care. Just if you have anything to say, go ahead and leave it in the comments. But yeah, see you in the next video. I'm going to do that right now. Have a good one. Take care.